other image I wanted to share is the sheet A4.0, which is, I'm just going to zoom in on this elevation. So here's the existing, which has the pretty bad brick veneer and these really, looks like the homeowner made the columns and the capitals. But instead, we just wanted to strip it back, keep it simple, let some more light in, show the windows, because there's not a lot to this house, and continue the parapet. Does that answer your question about the awning enough?
What's the color of the fabric, please? And is this umbrella?
Yeah, it's called, right, the manufacturer is Sunbrella. That's the fabric that can stand up to the UV rays. And so I was proposing just a dark color like a black.
So a simple black color.
Yeah, simple black. I have a picture. It's very hard to find examples of this style of architecture in San Marino, but here in South Pasadena, there are some. And this is a home on Edgewood, and I just wanted to show, obviously the house is a little more grand and a two-story facade, but there you can see an example, a similar example of a nice awning with sphered supports.
Thank you.
Yeah, are there any other questions for the applicant or Vice Chair Wong? Do you want to follow up with another question?
I'm good. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant's representative?
Yes. Ms. Masterman, what is your response in terms of the staff's concern about the
oh yeah, the driveway. That surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I want to show the house is so modest and the materials are humble. I find that the existing, I'll put here, the existing front gate is okay. The brickwork is a little, I don't know, not in keeping with the original house. And I prefer doing a simple wooden gate with V-groove and painted the same color as the windows, the window sash, the window trim, the front door. I believe we're just going to keep it stained. It's a nice heavy wood paneled door, but the side gates I wanted to adding a little layer of privacy, visual privacy, because it is quite a busy street and quite a busy intersection. So I would push back and say that the gates are appropriate to the style and the architecture, and that would be my preference.
Okay, are there any other questions for the applicant's representative? Okay, seeing none, I will now open up for public comment. Are there any members of the public here to speak for, against, or about this project? Okay, seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Yes, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, please.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to mute and unmute.
No problem. Go right ahead.
I'm just surprised. I had sent an input letter to the city, and I had also called the architect about an existing, and if she puts the picture back up, it'll show an existing shuffleboard court, a big piece of paving that has been holding water for the last year. The house has been emptied. And over to this, yeah, right there. There you go. You can even see the water. I had just asked if that court could be evened out. every time the sprinklers go on, and of course, every time it rains, the water is there for several days. And I have had to, I couldn't get my my mosquito person in to try to get, because of the gate, but it's full of mosquitoes over there. And my neighbor sent a letter to the city, and I sent a letter with no response, I guess. And I know, you know, that I talked to you, the architect, saying that I'm sure that whomever moves in there doesn't want that standing water. And then I heard earlier today that it's not a bad idea to reduce paving, and that side area is where the new piece of, I guess it's going to be the new piece of next to the gate, and it's going to be cemented. And that's the only problem I have, is that, you know, I'm right there next to that fence, and I cannot get rid of those mosquitoes and that standing water. And I would like somebody just to address it after we've brought it up.
Okay, thank you. Does the applicant's representative want to speak to that?
Yes, sorry. Now I'm starting my video. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I am looking at it was always our intention to remove the shuffleboard court altogether. And we inadvertently left it labeled existing concrete walkway, but the proposed addition is half on it anyway. So we couldn't, so sorry, so that shouldn't have been there. But it is definitely landscape.
Okay.
And
I appreciate it, because when I talked to you, you didn't mention that.
yes, I don't think we had the drawings open in front of us, so that was our fault.
Okay.
And I know that the homeowners are aware of it, but given the pace of construction and review time, we can't do any construction until we get through this.
No, I appreciate it. That's it. You know, I hate to see, I've lived here forever, and I hate to see the shuffleboard court go, but it's just not level.
Okay, I just want to clarify, just because I got a message about this, I would like to clarify that this, your particular question about this is not so much a design concern as it is a health concern, but I'm glad that you got a response from the applicant's representative about this, and it seems that perhaps your concern will be alleviated by the addition. Are there any other public comments? Are there any other members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project? Okay, seeing none, I will now close the public comment portion, and I will now ask for committee member comments. Committee member Lakon.
Thank you. I did want to make one comment on the from the I believe it's the neighbor. I'm not sure, but I assumed it was the neighbor of the property and the mosquitoes, and in relation to construction sites in general, when properties are empty and waiting construction and then starting construction. I live very close to other houses, and I have experienced tremendous amounts of mosquitoes from vacant properties with little buckets of water, or just little places that we can't access the yard because we don't have permission. And so just for going forward for all projects, just something to consider, how difficult it is to live with mosquitoes all over you, especially with the diseases you can contract for them. So it's dangerous as well as irritating. So thank you. As far as this project, I think it's very nice. It's very modest. It's in keeping with the architecture of the home. And I think it really enhances the property. I don't see any privacy issues, and I think the colors and materials are nice choices. I I could also support the wooden gates on the driveway on the other side, but the driveway side, I could support the wood. I think that's appropriate for that house in that style. So yes, like I could support this project as presented tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Committee Member McKay?
Thank you. I agree. I really appreciate how the applicant, architect have respected the integrity of the house, the original integrity of the house, have kept it architecturally compatible, and understand, how this particular house, as you've described it, as modest in comparison to the rest of the legal neighborhood. How it fits in. I think that the project as submitted is not only architecturally compatible and not only designed very well, but as committee member Lakon indicated as well, I concur, is a great improvement, and makes the house even more of an asset to the neighborhood. So I thank you.
Yes, thank you. Vice Chair Wong?
Yes, thanks for showing us the proposed plan, and I appreciate that the neighbor speaks up and share that with the architect, and it was amicably resolved. It is a modest request, and the awning material, style, size use is inconsistent with our design guideline, and I have no problem supporting the case with the condition that the drawing A1.1 be corrected to reflect that the paved area north of the property, the house, actually will turn into or will become lawn or landscaping. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Committee Member Cheng? Committee Member Cheng, you're muted. You're muted.
Sorry,
There
Now.
we go. Now we can hear you.
sorry. Well, it's always a pleasure to see Architect Masterman's work. She has done a lot of work in San Marino, and every time it's a pleasure. And I couldn't agree with her solution more. It's just great to see her work. Thank you for doing so much for the city. I've seen a lot of your projects, and it's always a pleasure. So I can support it without any problem.
Okay, and Committee Member Tony Chow?
I think it's a modest and tasteful update, so I think I can support this as well.
Okay, thank you. So I want to just comment that the plans for this were extremely good, helpful to us, and very clear. They really couldn't have been better. They were very good. So I also support the entire project, and I took note of Ms. Choi's comment about the iron gate, and I think we really like iron gates in San Marino for traditional architecture, even on Spanish architecture, or even when there are alternatives, that go with a particular style. It just seems like we and for consistency on this property, it made sense. However, I did find the architect's argument in favor of the wood, the wood gates to be, made sense to me. So I can approve this. I believe that this project is approvable today as submitted. I do like the suggestion that Vice Chair Wong had to condition the approval landscaping of that area. So with that, do we have a motion?
I'll give it a try. I'll move to approve DRC case 20-27 with the condition that the submitted drawing 8.1.1 be corrected to show the area north of the house be changed into landscaped area.
I'll second.
Okay, could we have a vote, please?
Sure. Committee Member McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Lakon,
Yes,
Committee Member Cheng,
Yes,
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, and our last item for the evening is design review case number DRC 19-91, 1270 Oxford Road. Could we have the staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This project, the applicant is requesting to provide a one-story addition along both sides of the property. This is a corner lot. And also the project will involve making alteration to the exterior of this single-story ranch house. Staff is able to support the addition location, being that the home will remain a single-story structure. Ranch style will remain as well. However, staff has concern about the addition of 3 new dormers facing Oxford Street, which is the front elevation of the home. Staff was unable to locate another example within the legal neighborhood that has 3 dormers on a single-story home. And staff is
We lost you for a minute, Ms. Choi, for a few seconds.
Are we frozen?
Ms. Choi,
Can you hear us, Eva?
it looks like we may have lost her briefly. Perhaps she'll have to.
yeah, I think we lost her.
To dial
Okay.
back in, it's probably an internet connection issue.
I'm just worried. Marlon, are you the host? Are you a co-host so you can keep the meeting running?
I am the sole host.
Okay, so when she comes back trying to get in, you'll be able to let her in back in if she's not in
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I think she wasn't quite done, but I think we heard the gist of it. I'm just wondering if we cannot ask questions of staff, but in the interest of time, maybe we will come back to that and wait for her to come back on. And maybe we will ask the, I think that we'll ask the applicant's representative to briefly present the project.
Sure. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Never sure. Yeah, so I'm sure you've all been out there. It's a neighborhood of primarily 2-story houses. There's a 2-story house to the left of us when you're facing our project. There's a 2-story house to the right, which is across the street, 1-story house in back. And then across the street from us is the corner of the Huntington Gardens, which effectively has, maybe almost 2 stories worth of trees across the street. And the owner, who's also going to say a few words, I hope she's still on the line. There's a big oak tree in the front. So yes, we're only adding about 300 square feet. As Ava said, we're shuffling around a lot of the inside of the house. We're using all the same materials and hipped roofs and everything as the house existing has. We comply with all setback sites, no angle plane problems. And like I said, we're matching all the existing materials. We included a few photos today, but what came up about early on was, and when I first met the owner, I noticed it immediately. The house is fairly dark inside. Not that unusual for a ranch house, but she has a big covered porch facing west. And one thing we briefly considered even was filling in the covered porch to at least get the windows out of the shade. But we thought, that's really going to change the character of the house. So we thought that We thought that maintaining the covered porch was an important part of the house. And that's when we decided to add some dormers. And we submitted some photos. I know the legal neighborhood is rather close, but there are dormers up and down the streets and the surrounding streets. Some ranch style, some not ranch style, but they're all similarly scaled dormers. So we added those. I believe in our signature getting every single neighbor approved. And we even have 3 specific letters from all the immediately adjacent neighbors, you know, not just approving the city forms, but actually writing about how much they like the elevation and how much they think the house is going to be improved from the way it is. And I know it's late. I don't think you guys, well, you guys know what you're doing. I don't think I need to go drawing by drawing, but if you look at the street elevations, you'll see it's rather humble compared to its neighbors. And if you look at the photos and letters we submitted from the neighbors today, those might be more important than raking through all the drawings. So, but other than that, I'm here to answer any questions. And Lee, are you still out there? The owner? She might not be there anymore. Okay, it's been a long hearing. So, okay, it sounds like she's not. Okay, she was just going to talk about how dark the house is, and you'll even notice in the back we had some transom windows and some very, very small dormers because that's a much smaller area. It's just a dark house, and she was asking me to do whatever we could to get more light inside of it while keeping, you know, stylistically appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Is Ms. Choi back on the Zoom?
Not yet. I just texted her and the message isn't going through, so it's possible that her phone died.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
I do believe that we got most of her report, but we can simply continue with questions for the applicant's representative and hope that she'll jump back on maybe after she charges her phone or something, or rejoins us with some other device. So are there any questions for the applicant's representative?
Yes.
From committee members?
I have a question.
Sure.
The photographs that you sent, the houses, the photographs of the houses, which I think you acknowledged were not in the legal neighborhood, but the photographs.
Right, the surrounding blocks.
Where were those taken?
The owner took some of them, so I am not going to have the addresses with me. I know one of them's on Wembley because I know the house. But I you know, they're within a few blocks for a house, but I couldn't tell you the streets and addresses, honestly. Maybe tomorrow I could, but I don't have that with me.
Okay.
And I guess she's not on the line, so.
Other questions for the applicants? Yes, go ahead.
But I can actually answer one of the other shifts. I can answer one of the locations is the house at the corner of Houston and Virginia by the park.
Across from the park, one of them, right? Yeah, right.
I recognize that one.
Right.
One of them's on Wembley, the one next to it, the one with the 3 dormers. The one, the bottom middle photo, I know that's on Wembley.
Okay.
And the upper left corner might be on West Haven. Might be on West Haven. The other 2, yeah, they're all a little bit west of her house because I remember I have the addresses at the office. I remember looking them up. I thought, well, okay, they're not on the street, but they're fairly close.
I have another question.
Sure.
What is in reviewing the staff report, which I assume you did because you submitted those photographs of the dormer windows today, along with the letters from the neighbors. What is your response on the brick veneer issue?
What is the brick veneer issue? I don't remember that in the report.
It's on page 3. The additional brick veneer applied below the bay windows creates a heavier appearance as compared to the current limited use of brick veneer.
Let's see. Okay, I am looking at sheet 8.61. And if you look at age 6.1, on the bottom of the page, you'll see the existing elevation. And on the left, there is the existing brick veneer. And it looks like the only place we added it was to the right. We didn't add any to the porch. I mean, if you want us to take that brick veneer off, we could. We thought it looked kind of nice to make it, to have it on the two protruding parts and then not have it on the covered porch. But it's not a deal breaker or anything. We just liked it better than we wrapped it around the corner.
So just to clarify, is the current facade in solid bricks or it is just brick veneers?
Well, no, if you look at a 6.1, you'll see that the, are you getting at the difference between solid brick and like thin brick? Because we would use solid brick as a veneer.
Okay.
Yeah, is that, well, okay, maybe I misunderstood the question. We always use solid brick as a veneer with a drip course on top. So whatever you see here would be solid brick, veneer just meaning it's applied over the studs.
So is it like thin bricks, which is real bricks, but just thinner?
No, they would have the brick thickness and they would have the little drip course on top. So if you looked at it from the side, the brick would be sticking out about 3 inches.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be full brick.
Okay.
Yeah, not the glue-on stuff.
Okay, and I just want to point out that Ms. Choi is back on the call. Ms.
Oh,
Choi,
okay.
we're asking, we're going to come back to you, or actually, let's come back to you now so you can finish your staff report. I think you were almost done. If we could just, if you could finish your staff report, we'll ask questions.
And I apologize for the issue. To wrap up the staff report, staff has concern with a particular material, a window proposed on the back elevation, and this is a one single eyebrows window that is identified as window Y on the plans. Staff does not find that window compatible with the ranch style, so therefore staff would like the committee to consider removing that window from the project. Thank you.
Okay, and let's go back to questions to you, Ms. Choi. I actually have a question. So did you express your reservations to the applicant about the front dormers?
Yes, that information was provided to the applicant verbally, the property owner verbally over the phone, and in an email to the architect's team.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for staff for Ms. Choi? Okay, seeing none, we'll go back to our questions for the applicant's representative. So following my question to Ms. Choi, did you explore other options to creating more light besides dormers? I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I spoke with the owner about it, and we put about as much window as we could in the living room. You know, if you look at the floor plan, it's kind of a piano room in there. And, you know, we already did, you know, by getting rid of the chimney, we were able to get a little more window. But it was really her choice. She really, really wanted the extra light. She visited a couple of houses we've done, and, you know, the light that you get from above is a little bit of a different quality. So she really enjoyed that quality of the light coming down from above. So she really wanted them from day one after seeing a house that had them.
Okay, so are there any other questions for the applicant from committee members?
Just very quickly, please. We were just talking about the brick veneers, and we were saying that it wasn't really a brick veneer and it was solid brick, but on this sheet that you've submitted, it says specifically brick cladding, black bear siding, brick veneer, color Hampton.
Well, I mean, a veneer is the method you put it on. So, I mean, we would do it with full brick.
The chimney's brick, correct? That's
the chimney, yeah, there's one chimney is going away and one is staying, and it's brick, yeah.
Solid.
What was that?
Solid brick, right?
Oh, so, you know what we could do? We could change the notes and we could try to harvest as much of the brick from the fireplace and actually put it under the window. Because we are gonna have a lot of brick. I mean, usually when you demo something, because we have a house we're working on in Westwood right now that we doing this on, brick, you know, you usually can save about half of it, maybe a little more than half, depending, you know, so we probably would have enough from the chimney to put under that window, which would be fine, you know. We'd probably figure that out when we were building it, actually. Sometimes you draw it, and then when you build it, things jump right in front of you.
Okay, are there any other questions for the applicant's representative?
I have a question.
Sure.
I have a question. The dormers themselves, are there dimensions drawn somewhere on the size of the dormers? I was having trouble locating, and I'm asking this specifically
I can tell you where they're
because,
located. Oh,
I mean,
go
I
ahead.
know where they're located, but specifically, I would need the exact dimensions, but I'm also, when you see the drawings, it looks like everything fits nicely. But when I actually look at the house, or I look at the house, I feel like the roof doesn't look that tall to have these 3 dormers fit nicely. Like I always, when I see dormers, usually the roof line is much higher or steeper and taller. So I was thinking, how are these actually going to fit on there realistically? If you're not increasing the roof, correct? Like you're not bringing it higher. Is that right? It's staying at the same level.
Yeah, if you look at the floor plan, you'll see the dotted lines of kind of where they're located to start with. That's A2.1. And that's kind of how there's 2 of them that are centrally located in the living room, and that's kind of where they're located horizontally. And then vertically, I don't know if we have a dimension. There's drawings that you don't require, like building sections and whatnot. And again, those are back at the office. So we don't have heights on these drawings, no.
You don't. So like, is this roof line that we see here the same that it is right now?
Yeah.
Are you raising the height of the building?
No, the ridge is staying where it is.
It is. And so those 3 will fit. Like they look nice here, but in reality, are they going to be how many feet high and how much distance?
Well, I mean, they'll look, we measure the whole house when we draw it, so they'll look very much like they're drawn.
And what is the size of these windows right now? What is the
Excuse
size
me?
of the window? What is the size of the window?
Oh, let's see here. Give me a second to hunt that down. They look like they're probably, let's see if we have that. Let's see, it's probably, let's see.
It's okay, we can.
Yeah, they are, I think they're the 2.0 by 3.0s. Let me just see here real quick. That might be there's a couple that are similar in size, and sometimes you don't get the key in the dormers until we do the working.
It's okay. It would just be something that
yeah, the dormers
I would
themselves,
be
from
more
looking at the
comfortable
plans,
having that.
they look like they're probably yeah, the body of the dormer looks like it's probably 4.5 feet wide, and probably about 4.5 to 5 tall. So
each one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2 questions. The first one is for the street-facing facade. Now that the owner is proposing 3 dormers window to bring more lights to the living room, why is there a need for the Velux solar tube? I believe it is to brighten up the storage space, but that addition is really messing up the roof look. It would be nice if the Velux solar tube is not visible from that roof.
Oh, we could put that behind the ridge. Yeah.
Behind the ridge, that would be nice.
Yeah,
You could
for
just
sure.
turn it I think that would help the front to be neat and clean
Yeah.
and serve the same purpose. A second question is about the back facade, which is the east-facing facade. Can you help us explain now that you have added 6 windows or glass, whatever, that is named W, and you are pushing up the roof? How exactly is that done?
It's called a pitch break. If you look at the roof plan, where those are being pushed up, the pitch of the roof is shallower there. And if you, again, she really likes the light in the house. So if you look at A4.1, you'll see that if you find the main ridge, it says existing ridge. You see the arrows going to the right. It's a 6 and 12 pitch. Then you see a line that says pitch break, and if you can see my hands, you have one roof like this, and then the back roof is a little more gradual. And you see that in ranch houses on porches and whatnot. They change the roof pitch. So the pitch over those windows is a little more shallow. And so we are able to get a taller wall there. Because the one other little dilemma with this house is if you look at how the garage is located, she has the potential for a beautiful courtyard back there, except the garage kind of juts into the courtyard a little bit. And so again, she wanted to get as much glass, and also when you have higher windows, she can get a little bit of a filtered view of the mountains when she looks towards the northeast, I guess it would be. And so when you are able to get a little bit of a higher roof, you get a little bit of a higher angle of vision. So so we did that with the pitch break.
So you have been into the house, and those windows do allow people to see more sky.
Oh yeah, because it lets you see over the garage too a little bit. I mean, you can kind of tell in the elevation.
Something about the landscaping at the backyard, would that be actually blocking the view anyway? So it defeats the purpose.
Well, yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's filtered, like I said. Like if you see the back elevation, the east elevation, those upper windows actually let you look over the garage roof. When you're there right now and you're in what's her family room now, you kind of feel like you're looking at the back of a garage, well, the side of a garage, because you are. And so these help get her eye a little bit over the garage. Because it's a courtyard house, but the way the existing garage is located, it's kind of pushed into the courtyard. And we can't really change the garage because the lot sort of tapers, gets narrower as it goes more to the back. And so this was a way of, not looking at the back of the garage.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Other questions for the applicant?
Yes, I have
Sure.
a follow-up question for the brick treatment.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're facing the house, the brick extension you are proposing, I know you said it's not a deal breaker, but however.
Yeah, I think we'll use the chimney brick actually.
Yeah, I just want to understand what I'm seeing. Because currently, if I see the picture, the photo of the existing house, some of that brick is, not completed like you're drawing because it's the existing look, and there's some hedges there. So are you proposing that you will take out some of the hedges and then just have that whole part be brick? Or how are you exactly gonna finish it up? And like you said, are you proposing to use the brick from the chimney? Because otherwise it's hard to match, right?
Yeah, no, I think we will. I mean, when we submit plans, unfortunately, sometimes we have to put part numbers and things on. But a lot of times as we build them, we adapt with, if we can reuse things, we reuse them,
Right, but what about the hedge part? Could you explain?
Well, okay, I don't have the picture in front of me. So are you saying like in front of the dining room?
Okay, well, I can share with you.
Okay. I kind of go in the side door whenever I go there, so.
Let me see if it works. Can you see it?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this part, right?
Yeah.
Right now, there's no brick. And here, I think there's maybe brick behind it. I can't really tell.
There's low brick. Like if you look to the left of the window, you'll see the height of the brick. It's like planter height. But we would, those hedges, I can check. I don't think they are tight up against the house. I think there's a little bit of air back there. So, we can still put
But
the
you're
brick on.
proposing this, all this will be just one surface, right?
Well, it actually is 3 different planes because it jogs out and then jogs back in. But again, like I said, this one isn't a mandate. We thought it looked good, on the drawing to have the brick on each side of it, kind of bookending it.
Right. Well, I understand you're flexible, but also I just don't think that the plan is very clear. You just can't really tell.
Well, it's what we want to put there, the brick, and the owner likes it as well. So if you go to the I think it's 6.1 probably. Yeah, 6.1.
Right.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, so you see the little vertical lines below the pop-out window. So the brick isn't one plane. It sticks out further in the middle and then it recedes on each side because that's the shape of the house. So yeah, so maybe you're reading it as a tall brick wall, but it actually goes in and out.
So this part of the brick here
Yeah,
is possibly going behind this little hedge.
behind that hedge, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It does, yeah, it could, that's the thing with elevations, they look flat, so it could look like a tall brick wall, but it's really 2 offset walls.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Other questions for the applicant's representative?
Yeah, one last question, I guess. Just want to make sure that looking at the drawing on A6.1, the elevation looks proportionally well. So in order for the planning department eventually going to sign off the building during the planning approval, actually when you do your working drawing, you're going to have to come up with all the correct dimensions to make sure that the final result is exactly what this proportion is.
Yeah, we usually put dormer dimensions on the working drawings, like you said, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I want to make sure that the proportioning of all your window opening, your dormer opening, and the brick veneer and all of that. When we talk about veneer, you already promised that it's going to be full brick.
The chimney brick, yeah.
From the chimney. If you don't have enough, you need to buy used brick. So we want to make sure that we don't use those thin veneer and just glue it on.
Yeah, she has a little bit of brick walkway in the backyard, which we might be able to harvest as well. So, but I can certainly make those notes or conditions of approval. That'd be fine.
Yeah, those will be all the conditions. Okay.
Okay, no, that's totally fine.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant's representative? Okay, seeing none, I will now open up for public comment. Are there any members of the public here to speak for, against, or about this project? Okay, seeing none, I will now close the public hearing, and I will ask for committee member discussion to begin. Committee member McKay.
Thank you. I just have some fundamental concerns about the design on this one. I don't find consistent with the staff report. I don't find that the 3 dormers are consistent with the architecturally compatible with the ranch home that we're dealing with on Oxford. I mean, it's not a Dutch colonial, it's not a Cape Cod, it's a traditional home. And the examples that were submitted just before tonight's meeting are not in the legal neighborhood. We can't identify some of them. Some of them are several streets away. And I'm not sure about the scale. So I don't think that those are architecturally compatible with the ranch style home that we're dealing with. And I don't know about the scale of having those 3 large dormer windows. I think it's outsized. I think the scale is outsized. I have the same concerns that we mentioned earlier about the brick. I think that the dormer windows are a bigger concern for me. Thank you.
Okay, Vice Chair Wong.
Right. I can see the challenge in approving the design, especially the front facade with a ranch house and a 3 dormers windows, not knowing dimension of it. So I'll say if the exact dimension would be available, and I mean the architects is to scale, but I just want to be sure that would help, and also where the other examples are taken from, so we can kind of have a better gaze at it. I think there is merit in the design intention, and I think I appreciate the owner's wish to bring in more natural light to the house without burning electricity, which is always recommended as well. And the back facade, since it's not street facing and the intent is genuine, I would not worry too much about it. I can see merit to support the continuation of the project, and hopefully they can come to a mutually agreeable resolution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Committee Member Lakon.
Yes, I actually agree with basically everything that Commissioner Wong just stated. I also agreed with the staff report, but I do understand the applicant's desire for light, and that can be a tricky situation. So my concern with the dormers, I don't think they are necessarily compatible, but I would like to see them in scale drawn out with the dimensions for us, so that we can see how they're really going to appear on that roof line. And I would also like the finish. If we were to approve dormers, I would like the stucco not to be the finish on the outside, but a material more that would be more in keeping with the wood paneling, or something that would make those, if they were to be there, to kind of go away, blend in more with the roof line. So I could support a continuance based on what I just stated. And as far as those little eyebrow windows in the back, I could support those. Only, I mean, I would be, I know she wants light in the back. I don't know if, and I would like to see those drawn to scale as well. How's that? Okay, thank you.
Okay, Committee Member Chang.
Yeah, when I walked the project, the owner happens to be there, so she walked me inside and showed me her living room and how dark it was, and so I was able to understand what she's coming from. I also echo some of the concerns. I need to have a clear dimension of these window dormers, whether they in fact will fit in nicely as we look at the drawing. And there are the different ways to do these dormer windows, and some are executed very nicely, some are not. I think the architect need to do a little bit more work and try to identify the exact kind, whether the edge is coming with stucco, was it with siding. I don't think that was dimension, was identified. And I think we need to identify all of those and get the correct window size, and make sure out of the 20 foot 5 inches to the ridge line, how does that fit in there correctly? So I think it's very important that we do that if we were to support that owner's desire. I appreciate the owner's idea of not maximizing the house and try to do it tastefully so that she can fit in that important corner, the entrance to the library row. The brick, it looks to me that based on what was shown, if we run the full brick all the way up to the bottom of the window, that may be a little bit too much. I think the architect needs to study the existing landscaping, or it's going to be taking those out. Look at your new completion of your brick wainscoting, and then look at the new landscape plan, so that so that they do not look overpowered. Currently, when you turn the corner, that seems to be a little bit awkward. I have no problem with the raising of the roof line because it looks a little bit more proportioned to the garage. It's actually better than we have before. Other than that, I think it just needs a lot of detailing, a lot of double checking, make sure it's correct. I support continuance to allow the architect and the owner to work those out. And I appreciate the neighbor supported the project too, because I think in such an important occasion, make sure the neighbors are supporting. So I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Committee member Tony Chow.
I think everyone's kind of in line, right? I think just seeing the actual size of the dormers. I do want to mention that we do appreciate, I mean, I can definitely see all the work that was put into it, from the arbor plan, the trees, and kind of the design work. But yeah, I think we're just gonna have to continue to get some more information.
Okay. Committee member Rick Chow.
Yes, I very much agree with all the comments, and I just want to emphasize again that I mean, all the homes in San Marino are very important, especially to their owners. But this particular location, it's right at the beginning of Oxford. So it really holds visually kind of the gate as you enter, as you go up Oxford, right? And so it's good indication that we have a lot of support from the neighbor, even the next door neighbor, the Grand home just north of it. However, you know, and I also think that just because it's ranch style, my personal view is that it can be still very successful with dormers, but you know, it just needs to be done with to show the committee if the owner still decides to go that route, like how all the materials with a lot of information. Again, I want to stress renderings. You know, it's the only thing we can see is just one front view that really doesn't give us enough information. We want to see, I mean, I personally would like to see a 3/4 view, you know, especially if there's no size reference. I just find it a little bit surprised we don't have information like that. I'd like to see 3/4 view, maybe a side view, how the dormers interact with the existing roof line and the slope.
Yeah.
I think all that is very important.
We have a model of the whole house, so sure, for all sides, yeah.
So we're looking forward to your next presentation. So
Sure, okay.
in the back windows, I also question the whole row of 6 transom windows. I just find that it's a little bit overkill, and of course, you know, daylight, everybody loves it, and I hope that perhaps there's a way to still achieve that, but make it a little bit less heavy-handed. So let me see, and I think that's my main main concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so all of the committee members have spoken except for me. My comments are very similar to everyone else's, except I think about the dormers. I hear from the rest of the committee that there is some potential for tolerance for these dormers, along with a couple of comments that indicate some you know, problems with the existence of dormers at all. My personal opinion is that while I can support much of this project, where I cannot support it is with the dormers. The dormers, I strongly believe that the dormers do not fit on this project, and I will explain why. First of all, in terms of neighborhood compatibility, you are on a street that is a showcase for, you know, homes that are compatible with themselves, that keep to a particular style. And I strongly believe that we should not mess with that on this street, or to some extent any street, but this is a street that, as committee member Rick Chow mentioned, is really one of those really excellent streets in terms of architectural compatibility. Dormers are not found on ranch homes. Where they are, they're not characteristic of that style at all. And on top of it, you know, the more I looked very carefully at this house, the more I looked at it, the more I came to believe that the roof pitch, you know, dormers typically look appropriate on homes that have very steep roof pitches. That's why you find them, you know, looking more natural on, you know, like someone mentioned Dutch colonials, but this does not have a high roof pitch at all. And so I believe that no matter how you try to massage them and make them try to blend in, they are not going to look compatible with that ranch style home. I strongly believe that, but in terms of all the other things mentioned, I agree with all of the other committee members' you know, concerns about the placement of the brick and, you know, the veneer versus, you know, saving the materials from the chimneys is an excellent idea. You know, careful placement of them. Of course, I understand very much like all of us can, for the desire to bring more light into your home. I think that you have already brought in from this design a lot of light into your home in terms of different placement of windows and, you know, a little hidden skylight up there on a little flat area. I also think that 6 transom rimmed windows is overkill. It doesn't really work there. But I think that you have done a lot to bring light into your home. I just personally cannot support the dormers at all. But what I have heard, so now trying to summarize the comments, everyone's comments, what I hear is certainly universal concern with the dormers, and among some members, more than just concern. So take that into consideration. I hear frustration with the lack of detail on the plans. I agree with that. The fact that we don't have, you know, the measurements of the windows and renderings from all sides. We definitely expect to see a greater level of detail if you are able to come back, if there is a continuance. We need, as committee member Rick Chow mentioned, we need to see if you are coming back with dormers, they need to be very clearly shown the dimensions on how they interact with the roof and all of that. You know, to see front views, side views, 3/4 views. I believe that covers most of the committee members' comments. Given that, I will now ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to continue DRC 19-91 to the looks like we can move everything down to December. I don't know if that's going to be for staff. Would that be the correct date again? December 2nd. Would that be the right time?
I think it was December 3rd. Staff, could you please confirm that?
It is December 2nd.
Okay, December 2nd. Is that acceptable to the applicant?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, did we have a second for your motion?
I'll second that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yes, could we have the vote?
Sure. Committee member McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Lakon,
Yes.
Committee Member Cheng,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batnich.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I believe that we have someone here to ask for open forum, but I believe that that we are expected before the open forum begins that I will adjourn the meeting. Is that correct, staff?
Yes.
Okay, so I will now adjourn the meeting. And our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, November 4th, I believe.
That is correct.
And I just want the committee to know that, as I understand it, that will be the only meeting for the month of November. Can we confirm that?
That is also correct. Yes. We would like to keep one meeting per month. However, this month we saw a long list of projects that were ready to go and were approaching their action dates. So that's why it had to be broken up into 2 meetings. We would like to go forward with the single meeting. And we anticipate at least through the end of the year that will be the case.
Okay, thank you. So now I will adjourn this meeting, and we will, once everybody is off of the Zoom, except for me, Committee Member Cheng, who has kindly volunteered to stay with me after for open forum, and Marlon, I believe that you will stay on the line with us. Is that right?
I will stay on as a host. However, I will mute my mute everything and turn off my camera. So I will not be a part of this meeting, but I will stay on so the meeting does not end. We want it to stay
Okay.
active.
Thank you so much, everyone, for especially for the applicants who had to wait several hours. We thank you very much for your patience. We hope that